These are all my thoughts and opinions based on public information on the internet. Please share information with me, and Happy New Year, my beautiful people. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Happy New Year. Hello, my gorgeous people. A happy new 2022. I wanted to talk about a few things. Please don't forget that these are all my thoughts and opinions, okay? I don't know how many of you remember when Prince Andrew, the Queen gave him this huge home. And then when he divorced, when they got divorced from Sarah Ferguson, they tried to sell it. They couldn't sell it. They were asking for about, I think it was 12 million pounds for years. They had it on sale for many years. Nobody would buy it. Until, of course, Prince Andrew became the, I don't know, the ambassador for trade or whatever it was. And he suddenly, this Russian oligarch or this from Afghanistan or whatever the guy was, Pakistan, I don't know where the guy was from, suddenly bought the house for about 4 or 5 millions above the asking price. I don't know how many of you know about money laundering, but this is how it's done many times. Like we have, for example, Harry and Meghan Markle, who bought this house in Montecito. The house was valued at, if I'm not mistaken, at 23 million asking price. Most of the times, these properties sell a little bit over the asking price. However, Harry and Meghan were able to buy that property for a little bit over half the asking price, right? Because they bought it for 14 million, I believe, and the property was for sale for 23 point something million. So I don't know how they managed to get that property for almost a little bit over half the price, which is an incredible find until you know what's going on. We know that the guy who sold them the house is a very good friend. He's Russian. He was in the same picture with Misha Nunu and Amal Rajan, that guy from BBC, at a Harvey Weinstein party, which is the same guy who sold him the house for almost half the price. Now, 18 months after, Meghan Markle and Harry are now putting out the feelers that, oh, we don't like it here anymore. This is not good for us. And they're going to try to resell it. If that is the case, I wouldn't be surprised if they suddenly get $24 million, which is the total asking price of the property. Those properties are valued around that much, they're properly fair evaluation. So the property value is actually around $26 million for that kind of property in that place. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make such a good deal that they suddenly get paid $25 million, which is the asking price. So they make almost $10 million on it. That is sneaky. And that is basically, if they were into money laundering or trying to get some money to them in a way that looks legal, that would be the way to go about it. Do you know what I'm heading at? Because they bought the property for almost half the price, and then they sell it within 2 years for the full price. So they make millions. They make the payments on what they owe if they haven't, because I'm sure they've been paying a mortgage, and they make millions on top of that. That is a very good way, and that would be an alert for the IRS to look into that, because it's not normal. You know what I mean? If they are doing that, if somebody's trying to give them money that way, it would be an attention for somebody, the IRS or the government, to have a deeper look at it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I mean, it's really weird given the fact that first, they haven't been making money with Netflix. Netflix refused to give them their payment this year because they haven't been producing anything. Spotify, they never got 18 million. I don't know why people keep getting that Spotify is going to give them $18 million. Not even Adele gets $18 million from Spotify. It's everything. When you listen to the music and when you stream it, that's when you pay for it. And that's how they figure out the royalties, and that's how they pay out the artist. I can guarantee you that if Adele really thought that Harry and Meghan were getting $18 million and not her, who was an artist, she would have done something about it. You know what I mean? So it's all BS. So what do you think about the house? I don't know if I explain myself correctly here, but if you know what I mean, that's the way that drug dealers and other people launder money. They buy properties, they get these deals, and then they resell it, and then they clean the money. It's also a way to give somebody money that looks legal. You know, oh, you got that great deal, yeah, and then wait a minute, you mean the car is worth $100,000, but I'm gonna buy it for $10,000 because it's you. You know, and when it comes down to money, nobody is ever that nice. There's no reason why, for example, that oligarch who bought the house for Prince Andrew over £4 million, the asking price of a property that was completely dilapidated, and then he did nothing with it. You know what I mean? Unless it was a payout to Prince Andrew, and it looked legal because he was buying a property, and there's no limit or really a law on how much you have to pay or sell for a property. So as long as the guy who sold Harry and Meghan the property was okay with it, and he says, you know what, I know my property's worth 25 mil, but I'm going to give it to you for 14, unless somebody's willing to lose $10 million, and or unless there's some other purpose, you know, somebody needed to launder the money or whatever, you know, to clean it. I don't know. These are all my thoughts and opinions, you know. So whether they're leaving LA or not, Meghan Markle is not accepted anywhere. Harry's not accepted anywhere. Now they're putting out, I think I read an article that Archie's going to this school that teaches emotional literacy. Clearly both their parents are lacking that. They can't teach them, because you teach your kids values. You don't need a school to teach them that. You know what I mean? You teach your kids to be decent. You teach them what the values are, but I can't understand, because both of them don't know what morals are. Both of them have no scruples. Both of them are traitors. Both of them are snakes. So I can understand why they would need a stranger to teach their own children how to behave or how to be emotionally okay. You know what I mean? That you get from the parents. You know, I read once Maradona. I don't know if you guys know who Maradona is. Maradona was a famous football player. And he said, in Spanish, he said something very good. I'll say it in Spanish and then I'll say it in English, because then it'll help me translate it. No soy mal educado, soy mal aprendido. I wasn't badly educated at home. I was a very poor learner. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's not that he didn't get a good education at home, morally and everything, manners and stuff. It's just like Prince Harry and Prince William. You have, you know, two children who grew up in the same household they got everything equally when it came down to love, opportunities and stuff. Yes, the position within an institution was different, but at home they were both the same. And you can see how total different characters they are. I can give you another example. For example, Ted Kaczynski, you know, the Unabomber, and his brother, both grew up in the same household, very loving, and both turned out differently. Again, no matter which schools you send somebody or how well you treat them when they're growing up, you know, it's already ingrained, you know. I guess it's nurture versus nature. Some people are naturally nasty. Some people naturally do not have those qualities. And no matter what you do, you can't, you know, you can't turn a pig into a dog. You know, it just doesn't happen. This is why certain animals have certain qualities and some others don't. It's the nature of the person. So I really think that Harry and Meghan Markle, they both got very loving environments. They were both well educated, but they are very bad learners. They don't care to learn. You know, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. It's a very old saying. What do you guys think? I mean, and why, if it's secret, why are people talking to the newspapers about where Archie is? If nobody knows who he is, then nobody would be talking about it. You know what I mean? It's really, really stupid. I will do a video tomorrow as to why Prince Charles has disqualified himself from being king. And I'll give you a hint. The Marriages Act of 1936, which was amended in 1949, basically disqualifies his marriage. No, he can marry anybody he wants. All royals all over the world can marry anybody they want. However, there are rules for royals. And why is that? Because marriages within a royal institution have much wider constitutional consequences. And therefore, they have to be held up to higher standards, rules, and protocols, because we're seeing the consequences with Meghan Markle, for example. And the reason why Meghan Markle happened is because of the safety features. Now, when Prince Charles got married, and the reason why, Tony Blair is being knighted, is because he failed to do what the Prime Minister did to the Duke of Windsor, which was, listen, these are the rules. If you want to marry Wallis Simpson, these are the consequences. You cannot be king. So you have to make a choice, because the rules as they stand, it cannot do it. So this is why there was this lord before Prince Charles got married, that said, you know what? We all know that by marrying Camilla Parker Bowles under these circumstances disqualifies him. This disqualifies him from being king. And many of the lords on the House of Parliament said, you know what? There has to be a separate bill made, because otherwise he is disqualified under the current rules. Okay? And what happened was that Tony Blair, who should have held those rules, failed to do it, because at that time they were all kissy kissy. This is a guy who sold out his country, in my opinion. So now he's been rewarded. One of the reasons why he's been rewarded for this knighthood, because he failed to hold Prince Charles accountable to the rules when he married Camilla. He can marry anybody. You know what they ended up quoting? The 2000 Human Rights Act, the European 2000 Human Rights Act, which has nothing to do with already the Marriages Act of the United Kingdom. And that is because it didn't suit Prince Charles. He can marry anybody he wants. This is the second time, among many other times, that Prince Charles has been saved by Parliament and by corruption and by people failing to hold him responsible. I am not saying, and please, I'm very clear about this, that he couldn't marry Camilla. Nobody was preventing him from marrying Camilla. However, his marriage as it stands, as it was carried out, disqualifies him to be King of England. First of all, he cannot even his marriage was not even carried out by the Church of England. He got sort of like a blessing repentance thing, because the church cannot really recognize that marriage, because he wasn't married to the Church of England, yet he has to represent the Church of England. You know what I mean? So therefore, that marriage is not recognized. It's a civil marriage. It's a civil union, which is not recognized by the Church of England. Let me know what you think. Apologies about that. It's just that I have a lawyer, because the Bloody Sugars, again, left stuff on my website. And I thought on the school's Facebook site and stuff like that, I thought I had blocked them, but apparently Facebook went back and allowed things without my notifications. So I had to get a lawyer involved. Anyways, yeah, so what I was saying, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Harry and Meghan Markle and their crap? I think that somebody's trying to get money to them. If it's true, you will see that they suddenly make such a great deal because they're such great business people. I don't buy that. They're both idiots. So in regards to Prince Charles, it's not, let me put it this way, and please don't come at me with hatred that I hate Prince Charles and Camilla, blah, blah. I don't like them. I don't hate them. I don't like them for many obvious reasons. But his marriage to Camilla disqualified him from succeeding to the throne. He is entitled to marry anybody he wants. But for example, there are rules for royals. There are rules for that because they have so much power. They have so much influence. They have so much of a platform that they have to, these rules are there to ensure that the people that are there, they meet these rules. And this is why we have a Meghan Markle. Okay. Now, the fact that the Queen is giving Camilla the order of whatever it is, it's unbelievable because they're doing like what they did to Lord Mountbatten. Lord Mountbatten should have been tried for treason or at least court-martialed for disobeying a direct order during the war, which cost the lives of many soldiers by him not showing up. I think it was at the coast of Norway, of all places. And he abandoned those soldiers, and many of them were captured and killed. He should have been court-martialed. Instead, he was transferred to some place and was given a commendation. I mean, it's unbelievable. Charles cannot be king of England according to the Marriage Act for the royals. It disqualifies him. And a bill was never introduced to change that. So this is like, instead of, they said there's laws for fraud or laws for stealing. And if somebody steals, oh, you know what? Let's change the laws for stealing so they don't get caught or it's not a crime anymore. Prince Charles is entitled and has always been entitled to marry anybody he wants, as long as it meets the rules and requirements for royal marriages. So whether people like to hear it or not, and don't come at me, oh, he's entitled to get married. We're not talking about whether they're entitled to be married or not, but whether or not that's suitable. As it stands right now, that marriage is not recognized by the Church of England. It is not a marriage recognized by the Church of England. People are confused. They say, oh, the Church of England blessed it. No. According to the law, and this is why, remember that black bishop quit because he said, from the Church of England, because he said that the church was playing politics and not adhering to the laws of the church or following the church's rulings, because so many things have done, one of them being Prince Charles' wedding. He can't represent the Church of England and his marriage is not recognized officially by the Church of England. Okay. And this is why the Queen was not present during his wedding. And this is why the Queen was angry, because she had been told by Charles' advisors that there was no problems with the marriage. The Queen was actually quite angry about that. But once she'd given her consent based on the information that Charles had given her, which later on she found that wasn't all that correct, and created a lot of problems. There were a lot of lords on that parliament saying, as the Marriages Act stands now, it disqualifies Prince Charles from being king. And there has to be a new bill issued if he is to accede the throne. But no, and the person who had to do that and call the shots on that was Tony Blair. And he basically didn't do it. He didn't do his job, and now he's being knighted. What do you guys think anyways? And thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to go to the Queen's and do all of the royal sites, Instagram and Twitter, and ask them to remove Harry from the royal site and to ban him from using all royal titles except for official royal engagements. Why is he still on that website? You know, and Lady C said something like, oh, it's because it's the first 6 people who are advisors to the crown. According to the law, only if he's residing in the United Kingdom. He's not residing in the United Kingdom, and therefore he's not advisor to the Queen. You know, like he's not, because it is stated in that law that you can only be an advisor to the Queen if number one, advisor to the state or something like that, if you're the first 6 in the line of succession and are residing in the United Kingdom. So the only people keeping Harry residing in the United Kingdom is in the royal website, where the Queen, because that's the Queen's, that website belongs to the Queen, to the monarchy. It's stating that his official family residence is Frogmore Cottage in the United Kingdom, in spite of the fact that that is a blatant lie. So let's start by speaking the truth and clarifying things. So go to their websites and sites and all social media and respectfully ask him to correct those wrongs. Anyways, have a good day.